What up, Gripsters and random YouTubers? Evan here for Grips.com, coming at you with another video. Today I'm going to be giving you some of my favorite live poker tips for improving your win rate at the poker tables. Let's go ahead and get into the presentation. So I've been playing more live poker lately, getting back in the swing of things, getting in the mix, and a lot of insights have come to me that didn't come to me when I wasn't playing live poker. I got a little disconnected from the game and I wasn't fully understanding what people were dealing with. So I've made this presentation to give you some really key teachings, some really core principles that you can add to the mix to help you win more money when you play live poker. They're very foundational teachings, can easily be applied by anyone at any limit. So whether you're a small stakes player, a mid stakes player, or a high stakes player, I'm pretty sure you're gonna find some value in this video. Live poker tips. Selection. Honestly, it is all about selection, and the better we select, the better we do. First thing I look at when selecting where I want to play live poker is where's the best action for my bankroll. Where I live, I have 3 casinos nearby, and then I also have private games close to me. So first thing is, how much does the travel time bother me, or do I enjoy the travel time? Because I have to kind of factor that in to my session. When you're going to play live poker, you're investing time to go there, you're investing time to go back. That is time you could spend doing other things, and so it's very important to look at that. Another thing to look at when deciding whether or not to travel is, how big is the rake? There are a lot of private games around the city here. I've played in them, but the rake in them is absolutely absurd, and I would rather travel the hour and 15 minutes to get to the casino and know my money's guaranteed and know I'm paying a smaller dollar per hand or dollar per hour than play locally and be, just getting ravaged. Second is volatility selection, and this is something that was new for me because back in the day, every game at the casino was 100 big blinds maximum. Now they have tables where you can buy in for 200 big blinds or even uncapped on some games. And it's important to know that like a 2-5 is not a 2-5 is not a 2-5. A 2-5 with a 500 max buy-in plays very differently than a 2-5 with $1,000 max buy-in. And a 1-3 with a 300 max buy-in plays very different than a 1-3 with a 500 max buy-in. So I found that the max buy-in is almost more important than the actual blinds because that basically determines how big the game plays. So for example, at Niagara Falls, the 1-3 you can buy in for 500 basically plays like a 2-5. 2-5 you can buy in for 1,000 basically plays like a 5-10. So when I go to the casino, I need to kind of check how much volatility do I want to take on, how much of a swing am I willing to deal with, and based on what kind of mood I'm in, I can also choose the right game. So if I'm looking to just make a small, steady earn without a lot of tough spots, without a lot of sweating, I probably want to play a smaller limit or a smaller cap game. Whereas if I want more action, I want to take the volatility, I want to play big pots, then I'm going to want to look for that deeper stack game. And so, there's one game at one casino close to me where the max buy-in's 100 big blinds, and there's another casino where the max buy-in's 200 big blinds. So if I'm feeling like I'm in a more action mood, I'm going to go to Niagara where there's a deeper stack game. And if I'm feeling like I want a more chill session, I'm probably going to go to the Brantford where it's 100 buy-in, 100 big blind buy-in. And that's something to consider when deciding where you want to play. What is the cap on the game? What's the max buy-in? And do people straddle locks? If straddles are in the mix, that game's going to play a lot bigger. So on the same topic is limit selection. And it basically comes down to how much money I have, how much I'm working with, how much I have with me that day, and what kind of mood I'm in. If I'm playing outside my bankroll, I feel really stressed out. I get into a fight or flight state of mind. I do not make great decisions. I don't think things through. I act very impulsively, very reactively, and I don't make great decisions. Whereas when I'm playing too small relative to my bankroll, I don't take things seriously enough, and I kind of spew chips off. So I find that for me, it's very important to hit the sweet spot of what the amount I want to play for is in general, but then also be willing to adjust it based on the day. Personally, I like to have at least 5 buy-ins in my pocket for a game. Otherwise, I feel like I'm underrolled, and I play very differently when I'm on my last money than when I'm having extra money behind. And if that's something that you experience too, Ask yourself, you know, what's my life bankroll for poker? What's my pocket bankroll? How much do I have today? And what's the mood? Do I want to take a lot of volatility in my bankroll, or do I want to keep it pretty steady and choose that accordingly? The other thing that's cool is, like, just because the max buy-in's 1,000 doesn't mean you have to buy in for 1,000. And I found that buying in for a smaller amount tends to make it easier to get action. People will often give a lot more action to someone who's sitting with 60, 80, 100 blinds than they will with someone who's sitting 200 big blinds deep. And so I like to start my sessions buying in for 100 blinds, even if the table maximum is more, because it's easy to get action, and it also doesn't tip people off the same way that, you know, when you buy in deep, it kind of says something about your game, and I don't want to give that message off right away. I want them to figure it out later. Table selection, this was big. I found I benefited a lot from looking around the tables and saying, okay, how much money's on the table? But more importantly than how much money's on the table, who's it in front of? If there's a lot of money in front of someone, but that person looks rock solid, like they're a grizzled veteran, true professional, it's probably gonna be pretty hard to take those chips. Whereas if there's a lot of money in front of players who are, you know, drinking, or you see that they're really splashing around in a lot of pots, they're playing very passively, that might be a game where that person has a lot of chips because they ran good, not because they bought them. And more important than how much money's on the table is who's it in front of, and therefore what's the likelihood that, you know, you're going to be able to win it. Yeah, that's the real key there. Basically, is if the money's winnable, it's a great game. If there's a lot of money in play, but it's only in front of tough players, and the people who are weaker players only have small amounts of chips in front of them, it's probably not the best table, and you want to look for a table that maybe has less money on it total, but it's sitting in front of people who are more likely to make it available, let's say. Next is seat selection. Ideally, you want to have the loose players on your right so you can react to them, and you want the tight players to your left. The reason is because we want to play in position as much as possible. The more often we get to play in position, the easier it is for us to realize our equity, to extract value from our hands, and make the best decisions. Sometimes I find that this means sitting to the direct left of the weaker players because we have first dibs on kind of isolating them. But sometimes I find that the best play is to sit to the left of all the regulars so I can see how they react to the weak players and then react to that, rather than reacting to the weaker players and getting sandwiched in between the regulars. Also, a cool thing about that is the deeper stacked you are, the more advantage you have by being in position. So if you're out of position to all the regulars, you might want to buy in for a smaller amount and play, you know, shallow stacked against the regulars and then even stacked against the fish. Whereas if you have position on the regulars, then you're going to get more benefit from buying in deep stacked, and you can have the advantage of being in position playing a deep stack. So that's a cool thing about you know, choosing your different buy-in based on the seat you're in. And finally, of course, we have hand selection is going to be very key. We want to be following the triple threat, the pre-flop checklist, and deciding when we want to play hands multi-way versus heads up. And that's going to do a lot to the dynamic of the table where the aggressive players are. That's a whole topic in and of itself, which I do talk about in my How to Win at Poker series. So what I'm going to do is just link that here on the video, make some clickable stuff. So if you want to learn more about the triple threat, the pre-flop checklist, or really how to plan your hands so that you can build pots in the way that's appropriate for the hand you have and for the table you're on, check out those videos, and I hope it will help improve your game. And finally, number 7, this is a big one because I really screwed this up last time I played, is keep an eye on your tension and energy levels. As soon as my focus starts to drop, it's time to quit. And you probably know that situation where, you know, you're feeling like you're not on your A game, but you drove so far to get to the casino, you don't want to just quit right there. But sometimes you got to make the good quit, because if you're playing on your B game or your C game while everyone else is on their A game and sharp, you're not going to have an edge, and you're going to be slowly leaking money. And it's better to get a good night rest, come back to fight another day, than to play in a less than optimal state. So yeah, that's my little presentation on some live poker tips to improve your win rate in live play. I hope that you find some value in this list and can add one of these 7 to your game to improve your win rate. I'd also really love to hear your advice on how to improve your win rate playing live poker. If there's any apps you use, anything you do to get reads, or any specific strategies you like to implement, please let me know those things in the comment section. And be sure to read the comments that the other people are posting so that we can learn from each other as a community. Yeah, if you want to go deeper into these topics, I'll put links in the video description for the videos that I mentioned. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know how I'm doing. And if you have any feedback on this video, how it could be improved, please let me know in the comments section as well, so I can refine, and just continue to make good quality poker training content, help you improve your game, help you build a bigger bankroll, and help you enjoy that better quality of life. Thanks so much for watching the video, and yeah, until next time, you know what to do. Take what you learned, go out there, and get stacked. Peace. Wow, I did it. I made a video that's only 11 minutes long. That was my goal. I am so proud.